So, what on earth could two engineers who vanished in the Omani desert possibly have to do with Silicon Valley's obsession with living forever? Well, believe it or not, it all connects back to this ancient, incredible legend of a king who tried to build his own heaven on earth and the cursed paradise he left behind. It's a story that stretches from the ancient sands of Arabia right into the heart of modern tech.
Our story starts somewhere very real and very recent. Let's go to June of 2022 in the remote Dhofar region of Oman. We're in a vast, empty desert known as Al-Shizr. You gotta picture it. It's a place of just sand, silence, and as it turns out, some very old secrets.
Say you've got two telecom engineers from India. They're out here working, fixing mobile towers, deep in this desolate landscape. On June 29th, at 10 in the morning, their office loses contact with them. And then, just silence. They were gone.
A huge search is launched. For 6 full days you have the Omani police, the Air Force, even the Army scouring the desert, and they find absolutely nothing. It was like the desert itself just swallowed them whole. And then, finally, a local Bedouin stumbles upon their bodies. The official report was pretty inconclusive. It suggested their car broke down, but the actual cause of death simply listed as unknown.
And this is where the story takes a really strange turn. An old Bedouin man, someone who knew that area like the back of his hand, he offered this chilling explanation. He just said, "This is Shaddad's land. Here, no one returns alive." So, who was Shaddad, and why is his land supposed to be so cursed? Just hold that thought, because to really understand this ancient past, we first have to take a look at our own hyper-modern present.
It's really a tale of two very different eras, but with the exact same ambition. On one side, you had ancient kings who really believed their power could literally build heaven. And on the other, you have today's tech billionaires who believe their wealth can conquer death itself. The ambition is identical. Use whatever resources you have to just defy the natural order of things.
And the scale we're talking about is just staggering. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has reportedly poured up to $3 billion into a company called Altos Labs. Their entire mission? Cellular rejuvenation, which is basically a fancy way of saying reversing the aging process. And look, this isn't some fringe idea from a couple of rich guys. Way back in 2013, Google launched a company called Calico, and its official stated mission was, and I quote, "solve death." It doesn't get much more direct than that, does it? The personal drive behind all this is just immense. Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, he's put hundreds of millions into anti-aging research. And his reason is actually pretty simple. He said, "Death makes me very angry." For them, it's a personal fight against mortality, and they're waging it with billions and billions of dollars.
And then you get to the case of Brian Johnson, a tech CEO who has taken this quest to a whole other kind of sci-fi level. He spends millions on this anti-aging program that includes, get this, injecting himself with blood plasma from his own 17-year-old son. And even though he claims to have the biological age of an 18-year-old, he later admitted that after all that, he saw no benefits from the transfusions. Okay, so with that modern ambition in mind, let's connect it back to that cursed land in Oman.
All right, let's journey back now thousands of years to that exact same stretch of land. This is where we meet another guy with a very similar ambition to build his own personal paradise, King Shaddad ibn Ad.
Now, Shaddad wasn't just any king. This guy was a legend. He was said to have lived for 900 years, and he ruled over 1,000 tribes, with a kingdom that stretched all the way from modern-day Iraq across Arabia. His people, the Ad, were known for being giants, for their immense size and strength, and Shaddad, well, he was the most powerful of them all.
The story goes that when a prophet came and told Shaddad about the rewards you get in heaven, he just laughed. He actually declared that he didn't need God's paradise, because with his wealth and power, he could just build a better one himself, right here on earth. Talk about an act of supreme hubris, right?
And the wild thing is, he actually did it. He sent out hundreds of ministers and thousands of engineers all across the known world to gather the most precious materials you can possibly imagine. The construction took 300 years. Think about that. Whole generations of people were born, lived their entire lives, and died building the city, while Shaddad, with his super long lifespan, just waited. And the sheer scale of what he was trying to do was just reflected in the materials themselves. The city, it was called the Garden of Iram, was built with bricks of solid gold and silver.
It had these towering pillars that were carved from rubies, its gates were made of emeralds, and the ground itself was paved with pearls. He even had artificial rivers built to flow with milk and honey. It's just unbelievable.
So finally, the day comes. After 300 long years, Shaddad rides with this huge entourage to go enter his man-made paradise. He gets to the gates. His entire life's work is just gleaming right in front of him. But as he lifted his leg to get off his horse, at that exact moment, his life was over. He died right there on the spot, never taking a single step inside the heaven he built for himself.
So for thousands of years, the story of Shaddad and his lost city was just that, a story, a cautionary tale buried under the sands of time. But what if it was more than that? What if there was actual proof?
And that brings us to the 1980s, and to this amateur archaeologist and filmmaker who became absolutely obsessed with this very question. He was convinced the legend of a lost golden city, sometimes called Ubar, was real.
His name was Nicholas Clapp, and his theory was simple, but it was absolutely brilliant. If this city was a major trade hub, then all the ancient caravan routes, which are now totally invisible under the sand, they must all lead directly to it. The problem was, how do you see what's buried under the world's largest sand desert? So he pitched this kind of crazy idea to NASA.
The solution was cutting-edge technology. In 1984, the Space Shuttle Challenger was equipped with this special kind of radar that could literally see beneath the sand, revealing geological features and even man-made structures that have been hidden for thousands of years.
So what did they find? Well, this is the really incredible part. The images came back, and the scientists were just stunned. The radar showed these faint lines of ancient caravan routes, completely invisible from the ground. And they were all converging on a single point in the desert. And that point? A place called Shizr in Oman, the very same location where those two engineers vanished in 2022.
An excavation started there in 1992, and they found it. The ruins of an ancient fortress city with evidence of these towering pillars, just like the legends described. And the entire city had collapsed into a massive sinkhole. The earth had literally just swallowed it whole, preserving the myth as a physical, verifiable reality. So let's just take a step back. We've got three stories, separated by millennia, all coming together in one single spot in the desert. A modern mystery, a high-tech discovery, and an ancient legend. And you know what? They all seem to point to the same unchanging lesson.
Let's just compare these two quests for a second. King Shaddad used all his ancient power and wealth to build a paradise and defy fate, only to be struck down at its gates. And today, our tech billionaires use all their modern power and technology to solve death. And yet the result so far, in the words of one of its biggest believers, is no benefits detected. The goal is the same, and for now, the outcome is too.
From the cursed land of Shaddad to the sterile labs of Silicon Valley, the story just seems to echo through time. And it leaves us with this really fundamental question. The most powerful people in history have tried and failed to defeat death with all their wealth and ambition. So if all the money and all the technology in the world can't do it, what, if anything, can?